A cloth of linen lies quiet in the dark, long as a dinner table, and then some, a narrow river of fabric with a faint image swimming on its surface. Front and back of a man, head to head along the middle crease, as if a body once lay there, and the cloth was drawn over from feet to crown. The image is weak in one light and strangely strong in another. What looks ghost pale to your eyes flips vivid when photographed in negative. It is the Shroud of Turin, argued over, prayed before, measured and sampled, scorched and stitched, carried and guarded through fires both literal and cultural. Some call it the most studied artifact in history. Others call it a brilliant piece of medieval art, clever because it refuses to explain itself. Between those poles stands a single stubborn question that survives every documentary and every debate. Is it real? Look closer, but keep your breathing easy. The cloth is linen with a herringbone weave, diagonal ribs that catch light like small waves on shallow water. The image is not paint in the normal sense. No brushstrokes, no thick pigment sunk deep into threads. The coloring lives only on the outermost tips of fibers, microns deep, as if the surface was lightly dehydrated, singed, or kissed by some process that never soaked in. Where blood should be, blood-like stains appear. At the scalp where a crown would bite, at the wrists and feet where nails would hold, at the side where a lance would open flesh. The back is a map of small paired marks, as if a whip with multiple ends braided knots across skin, now widen the frame. How do people read this? Believers say the obvious line is the right one. This is the burial cloth of Jesus of Nazareth. Not a symbol made long after the fact, but the leftover of an event, an index of impact, like the dent in a door after a collision. They point to the wound pattern aligning with the gospel accounts. They point to the photographic surprise of 1898, when a negative plate developed in a dark room revealed the face with startling clarity, as if the cloth itself held a negative that becomes most legible in reverse. They point to the superficiality of the image, fiber tips touched, threads beneath untouched, and to 3D information teased out by image analyzers, where brightness seems to track with distance, as if the cloth somehow recorded relief. For them, it is not simply a relic to be admired like a rare coin. It is a signpost, silent but pointed. Skeptics answer with questions that are as old as careful thought. Where does the hard, continuous history begin? In medieval France, where displays and devotions and disputes are documented. Before that, the line thins into suggestion. There are references to burial cloths in earlier centuries, yes. But are those these threads or different ones? Chain of custody matters when claims are extraordinary. Add a fire in the 1500s, heat and smoke and water, and frantic rescue. Add careful patches sewn by religious hands. Add centuries of handling in air, and oil and time. Ask whether any of that might confound a test, or whether such caveats are offered only because a test once produced an unwanted number. Ask whether art can surprise us with techniques we have forgotten, or with combinations of materials that age strangely. Admit what is true in your bones. Humans are very, very good at making sacred images. Now, the famous test that occupies the center of so many conversations. In the late 1980s, a small sample was cut and sent to 3 laboratories for radiocarbon analysis. The labs agreed. The linen, in that sample at least, dated to the medieval period, roughly the 1200s to the 1300s. Skeptics rested their case with the relief that comes when an instrument agrees with the oldest secure documents. Believers raised objections that have echoed ever since. Was the sample taken from a corner that had been handled most heavily? Did that area include invisible repairs from the post-fire mending? Could later threads or biocontamination survive cleaning and skew results? Could heating during the fire have altered the carbon fraction? Some textile specialists argued that the weave in that corner looked different from the main cloth. Some chemists argued that chemical signatures supported the idea of newer material mixed with old. Others pushed back and said no. The protocols were careful, the labs were competent, the date remains a date. And so the debate continues like a long rally. In the midst of that rally, it helps to name what most agree on. The image is not a simple painting. Pigment alone, applied by brush, does not mimic the shallow, fiber-tip discoloration seen under magnification. The image shows little to no directionality, none of the sweep and grain a painter's hand inevitably leaves. It doesn't soak down into threads, it rides the tops like dew. Meanwhile, the red regions behave differently than the body image. Tests suggest the presence of hemoglobin, serum halos, iron. Though even those claims are parsed and reparsed depending on methods and controls. Attempts to reproduce everything at once, superficiality, negative-like behavior, 3D correlation, spectral response, blood behavior, have produced partial hits, clever approximations, and instructive failures. None have captured the full suite of observed features in a single clean recipe. When you look today, you don't see a pristine original. You see an object that has lived, scorched, mended, moved, kissed by light and fingers and air. If you are a skeptic, what does the cloth ask of you? Not that you abandon the tools you trust, but that you keep curiosity supple. The claim is extraordinary. The evidence must therefore be strong. But human beings are not only machines for proving and disproving, they are also makers of meaning, and meaning deserves a steady hand. History still matters, and we should name what we can with care. Head slightly tilted. Wounds aligned with wrists rather than palms. Anatomically more plausible for suspending weight, though even that observation is argued over by those who catalog ancient executions. The back shows many small wounds, roughly paired, as if a multi-thonged whip did its work. The scalp shows points that would match a crown or cap of thorns rather than a neat diadem. None of that proves identity. It proves the story of a crucified man told in a medium that is unusually stubborn about how it was made. Here is how to carry this without letting it carry away. Respect evidence. Admit limits. Avoid overclaiming. Use the most honest sentence in research. We don't know yet. As a guardrail, not as a dodge. Let the artifact be what it is. Either a relic that touched an event or an icon crafted to pull hearts toward that event. Either way, it works like a mirror. It makes you look at wounds, at love, at truth. It puts your face in the glass and asks what you see when you look at suffering and hope and the idea of resurrection. Is it real? Maybe, maybe not. The mystery is part of why it remains alive in the public mind. If it were proven fake beyond doubt, it would migrate fully into the museum. If it were proven authentic beyond doubt, it might migrate fully into the reliquary. In either extreme, it would shrink a little. As it is, it sits uncomfortably between lab and chapel and forces both rooms to talk. Now, the simplest, truest summary you can carry without dropping anything essential. A linen cloth exists with an image not explained by ordinary paint. The image aligns with wounds of crucifixion, as told in Christian sources. The cloth's secure, documented history begins in the medieval period. A radiocarbon test dated a sampled corner to that same period. Objections to the sample and the test remain in dispute. Nothing about those sentences forces a verdict. Everything about them invites a posture. So what do you see when you look? Not only at this cloth, but at suffering, at hope, at resurrection as an idea? Do you see foolishness, or do you see a door that refuses to stay shut? Do you see people eager to be fooled, or do you see people eager to be moved? Do you see a problem to solve, or a mirror that shows you your own habits of belief and doubt? You can leave the chapel with better questions and a quieter voice, and you can carry those into your next conversation, your next piece of work, your next tired evening at the kitchen table. Walk out. Let the door close softly. Sun again, noise again, the ordinary world resuming at its usual speed. The cloth stays where it is, doing what it has done for centuries. Standing between art and relic, between lab and chapel, refusing to become easy. That refusal is its gift. It keeps wonder on the table without demanding that you stop thinking. It keeps thinking honest without demanding that you stop wondering. In a noisy age, that is no small mercy.